Alright, what's up everybody? This is Martin Mobx Forever and welcome to another episode of Power Up Your LCD. So in the last episode we just finished up the LCD selection, autonomous selection, in which we introduced this pretty important program structure that I really do like, which is basically to which is basically this structure, this while loop that allows you to use the two side buttons to switch between modes and to use the one single button in the middle to do something. And also in the previous episode, in the introduction, I also talked about how I built this fully functional debug stream that's gonna let you basically view whatever you need to view, whatever values you need to view on the robot during driver control. Or which is basically during testing. So I'm going to show you how to do that today, which is pretty simple. We are going to use the same structure, and however, it's going to be a task in driver control. So let's get started. So we're going to declare something right here below LCD. Let's call it, this is a task, because we want to run parallel to the main driver control loop. We don't want to stuff everything in the driver control loop just so that everything just get confused. We want to do a separate task because robot C can multitask. So let's declare a task. We call this task driver control view values. And the reason this thing pops out is I have my Skyrise program open just in case I forget about something. Just make sure. And I just want to say this. The number one principle in my programming is to make sure everything is absolutely correct and accurate, so that I might not do some fancy programming structures if I'm not absolutely sure that it's gonna work in every way on a competition robot. So personally, I will learn the case and switch statements, of course, no problem. I want to learn them, but I just and I do know how they work, and I do know the theoretical problem structure, but the point is that I never got them working on a competition robot. So I'll just be cautious and teach you the if I'm in the long chain of if statement way, because I want to make absolutely sure, I want to make it absolutely certain that everything is gonna work with my code. Alright, so we are going to for driver control view values, we are going to declare another integer, another counter. Let's call this mode count, driver control mode count. Let's call it driver control mode count. This is long, which probably means that I'm gonna type a lot. Basically, it's the same principle as that. But just to recap, we're gonna type everything again. So before that, let's go clear LCD, which is right here. We're calling this function clear LCD. Just before everything starts, let's just clear LCD. That's always what we do. Actually, let's do this. Let's clear LCD before this even starts. Clear LCD, good. Alright, clear LCD, and then we start a while loop. While this time we don't want to exit this while loop, so in this case we are going to say while true. And the reason you don't want to exit this while loop is that once you get into your driver control, you don't. You only start this in driver control. That is for sure. You only start this in driver control. So let's go start. Stat task. Driver control. Alright, so we just start a task, driver control view values, my program, no error, awesome. Alright, let's keep doing this. So essentially, so I just explained the reason we want an infinite loop is that we don't want to exit, and it's just a multitasking loop. Alright, so let's keep writing. So let's write the exact same thing. However, this time we don't want to display these things, because we have separate things when we I mean, we do have separate things when we I mean, go to user functions on the screen, so we don't want to display something very constant on the screen. However, this will actually, let's just start typing. I'm gonna say that later. So if, which is essentially the same as here, let me just copy and paste. All right, copy. If our our left button is pressed, we are going to subtract this value, which means this value subtract itself. Excuse me, this value subtract 1. And if I have the right button pressed, I'm going to add 1 to that value. I'm going to add 1 to that value. Everything's good. Excuse me. Copy and paste this. And make that variable super long. However, before I move on, I gotta reiterate something very important. Because in this case, it's not just I'm displaying something very constant and I'm just changing the number in the right hand corner. In this case, what I'm doing is that every time I switch a screen, I want to refresh the screen, which means that every time I press a button, I want to first clear out whatever was on that screen, and then switching to the next mode, I'm going to display something brand new, so that I have to, before I switch to something brand new, I have to erase everything on the screen, right? So that it doesn't have some weird glitches and stuff from the previous mode doesn't just, remain there. So a very important thing we need to include in the driver control view value is every time I press a button, I've got to clear my LCD. Gotta clear my LCD, and it is the same case right here. Copy, paste. It is the same case right here, and the other stuff is just regular. We copy and paste this. Let's do 12 modes. I think 12 modes is just more than enough. In my Skyris final program, how many modes did I do? I did 12 modes, and I like the 12 displays, so yeah, I might as well do the 12 modes right here. So let's go copy this, which is basically the same principle as that, but I'm just replacing the variables. Alright, however, this time for the actual display, for the actual calling the task, we are going to put this thing in the same loop as our main loop, so that, excuse me, nope, I was talking to the wrong loop. I was supposed to be talking to this loop, and always remember to put the delay statement. So wait 1 msec 10 millisecond wait is pretty good. Alright, so let's do this. So basically the same thing as this long chain of else if statements. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to type, actually let me do a space, just get a space over there. If driver control mode count equals to 1, then I'm going to do something. And else if driver control mode count is equal to 2, I'm going to do something. Alright, so let's go copy, let's go paste, and I'm just going to copy and paste the entire thing to make this thing correct. So excuse me for a second. Alright, so I just copied and pasted all these. So basically it's the same principle, but we put the same thing in the one same loop, and we are going to constantly update these things every 10 milliseconds. So right now, because we don't have anything to insert in these if statements, and I'm just going to give you a some idea about this. In these if statements, we are going to insert user functions that's going to return values or display things on the LCD. But those user functions are not in loops. That's because it's already been put in this huge loop, which is going to update them very quick. So in the later episodes, I am going to show you what sort of user functions I put in there and how do we most effectively write them and how you tweak them to make them good. And so right now, because we are not displaying anything, we're just gonna write this play LCD center string 0 currently, and don't forget your formatting. So, and excuse me if I copy and paste all of these. Alright, so what I just did is that because all of these screens are not, all of these modes or all of the values of the driver control mode count we can set to, all of these values we haven't added anything yet, so I'm just gonna put currently empty in the slot that's currently empty rather than just a blank screen, and you don't know what's going on. So currently empty, and we are going to fill in these currently empties with our user functions so we can do our debugging. Alright, I hope you learned something. This is how you set up the driver control view value structure and compile program. I see no error. Awesome. And starting from next episode, we are gonna be talking about how we actually set up these user functions to go and make our debug stream work as charm. Alright, so this is SmartMouthX Forever, and I will see you in the next video.